When Aster was dragged to the Elmheim main house, he already knew this was not going to be a simple family meeting. The elders had called him there to judge him for the chaos he caused, and the moment he stood before them, the tension turned deadly. In front of the entire room, Zenith demanded proof of Hefried's loyalty by ordering him to kill his own son. But instead of bowing his head, Hefried chose Aster without hesitation, even if it meant the destruction of his entire house. That was the moment everything changed. With no more reason to stay silent, Aster tore off his shirt and revealed the 7 wings on his back, leaving the elders frozen in shock. The reason this power terrifies everyone is simple. The wing crest is the source of magical power, and no human in hundreds of years has ever possessed 7 wings. That level of power was said to belong only to the Spirit Clan, the very origin of the crests themselves. But how did he get this power? In a harsh, cold place, Aster, with a battered body, approaches his father, and an overwhelming killing intent, after claiming that his father sent him into an ambush to get rid of him. The man admits this, calling Aster a wingless one, which is why he has to die to stop bringing ridicule to the House of Elmheim. When talking about the Elmheim family, they are the greatest martial house on the continent, and they are tasked with protecting the royal family. The head of the house is Aster's father, Roderick Elmheim, who is the only one who has 7 wings in the entire kingdom. He once saved Aster, who was left on the brink of death in a snowstorm, and to pay this debt, Aster did everything Roderick asked of him. However, Aster had nothing to repay his father with because he had no wings. The wing crest is basically a proof of one's magical power, and the more wings, the greater the mana. Since he was the only one in the ducal house who had no wings, his siblings basically called Aster wingless. Nonetheless, Aster continued taking up the sword to practice every day, hoping that one day his devotion would be rewarded. In the end, he and his squad got sent on a mission that was destined to fail, but he managed to survive the ordeal. Now, he is wounded and exhausted, but he holds a grudge against his father, who discarded him. Aster tells Roderick that he believed in him and even followed him, but he stabbed him in the back as a reward. Roderick mocks him, asking him what expectations he, as a tool, thought he had, and he tells him to leave because he is done using him. However, deep down, Aster is raging with anger, and he dashes toward Roderick with his sword. He hates himself for following Roderick blindly while calling himself a pathetic idiot. Aster's sword lands on Roderick but leaves no single scratch. Suddenly, Aster is restrained from behind by a mana sword and 2 young men appear behind him. One of them cuts off his left arm, while the other cuts off his right leg. Aster screams in pain as he crashes to the ground with blood pouring out of his mouth. It turns out that these 2 are his brothers, and they mock him as he lies motionless in the snow, telling him that he will always remain wingless, no matter what happens. They even mock him, telling him that he looks so good while crawling on the ground. Aster punches the ground in frustration, asking Roderick why he bothered rescuing him when he was a baby, when he knew he was just going to discard him later on. Roderick bends down to tell Aster that he's getting everything wrong because he never had any use for him in the first place. Roderick mentions that